Here's something you may have heard about. Pornhub has blocked Utah. The entire state of Utah is now gone. So if you live in Utah and you enjoy looking at beautiful, attractive, naked people getting it on, as is your right as a red blooded American, guess what? You can't do that at Pornhub anymore. Why is that? It's because Utah passed a law that requires all porn sites to verify age verification. 2 weeks ago in this stream, I talked about a law that Utah passed which required minors to basically, they passed a law saying minors aren't allowed to use social media. Last I heard, it hadn't been signed into law yet, but it went through the Senate, and it's probably going to be signed by the governor there. So, but last I heard, this is what it was. Like, there was a law that said, okay, anyone under the age of 18 is no longer allowed to use social media, essentially without their parents' permission, and that there was going to have to be age verification, right? Well, this is a sort of related to that. This law is saying that if you just have a porn site or a site with naked people on it, then it requires you to do age verification. And here's the thing is what happened, what I predicted what was going to happen. You know, the child social media ban is exactly what happened with the porn ban, right? Is that no site is going to do that because it's expensive. It's expensive and unnecessary. And instead, they were just going to block it in that entire state. So that's exactly what I said was going to happen. And there you go, it happened. Want to just pat myself on the back for being correct? Because it's really not possible to effectively verify age like that without, first off, spending a shitload of money and maintaining a private database, right? That's what you have to do. So this is all being done, of course, you got to remember, this is all being done, and the justification is to protect the children, because that's what every conservative thing always is, and this stupid-ass culture war shit. It's always about protecting the children. Right? We got to protect the children from, social media, we got to protect them from child predators, or we got to protect them from groomers, and we got to protect them from boobs. Right, because porn will infect your child's mind or other some stupid shit like that, which is fucking ridiculous as hell, right? In the meantime, the rights of adults get trampled on. Keep in mind that's the real reason. The real reason is that they don't really give a shit about protecting children. The entire point was to restrict porn from adults in the first place. That's what this whole thing was. That's why they decided to ban it in Utah, because they knew exactly this was going to happen. That was the entire point of this. Remember, they don't give a fuck about your kids. All the stuff that you see coming from the right wing when it comes to this culture war shit, where they talk about protecting your kids from groomers and all that other crap, they don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. It's really there to restrict the rights of adults and enforce their culture on everybody else, to enforce specifically their religion. That's what the culture war is really about. It's about enforcing, like, Christian conservatives enforcing their religion on the rest of us. Right. In this case, those conservatives are Mormons. It's Utah. It's fucking Mormons, right? They run that place. Mormons have, they own Utah. Seriously. It's ridiculous how much empowered influence the Mormons have in Utah. They basically run that fucking place. This wouldn't have gotten passed without their say-so. And that's what they want. They want to stop people from masturbating. Because it's against their religion for people to, actually be free. Here's the thing, right? People out there don't give a fuck about religion. Even the religious people out there don't actually care about religion. It's a side thought. Even to believers, there's a very, very small number of actual people who live according to the creeds that their religion professes. Very, very small number of those people are fundamentalists. in the sense that they obey everything very strictly. No, no, no. Most people out there, when they say they're a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim or whatever, it's just a cultural thing that they go to, and it gives them strength or whatever when they're depressed or something like that. When they're going through tough times or something like that, and they want to pray and it makes them feel better. But during their everyday life, they just do whatever they want. That's how most people act, right? This is why you get people in the Middle East drinking alcohol. Well, Islam says you're not supposed to drink alcohol, right? Well, surprise, Muslims drink alcohol. I remember once there was a distillery in Iraq that got bombed because they said they were making chemical weapons there, and it turned out it was a wine distillery. And then I remember all the people here were like, Muslims don't drink wine. That's bullshit. They were lying. It's like, no, Muslims drink wine all the time, all right? Not everybody who goes to church or who believes in a certain religion or whatever is a fundamentalist crazy person. Same thing here. Same thing, you have conservative Christians and Mormons and stuff who say spanking the monkey is bad and that you'll go to hell. Then it turns out that those red states are the highest consumers of porn. In fact, Utah is the highest consumer of porn per capita in the entire country, right? They are. And it's just so funny how the more repressed your society is, the more people sort of have to find ways in order to escape that repression. Something I want to show you here. This is searches for VPNs in Utah. Searches for VPNs soar in Utah amidst Pornhub blockage. This is the Google search volume for VPNs on May 2nd, 2023. And you see here, oh yeah, all the other states 35, 30, 28, blah 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 blah. Utah 100. Right? So, yeah, as soon as they block Pornhub, suddenly everybody in Utah goes, well, I'm going to skirt this law. I'm going to get around it. Let's turn that shit off. And it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So the law says, I don't have it open in front of me, but the long and the short of it is that it requires porn sites to have a database of IDs, right? And I remember, like, back in the early days of the internet, they tried to enforce stuff like this. There were laws that went up around the country saying that, okay, any porn sites have to have some kind of age verification and stuff like that. And there were, like, other companies, like third-party companies, saying that, okay, well, in order to get onto this site, you have to sign up with that guy, but they never used ID. They never used a photo ID. They may require something like, okay, use a credit card or something in order to access the site, and they would assume that if you had a credit card, that meant you're an adult. And even if it was a free site, you still had to create this account with a credit card or something. But they never used photo IDs, right? Why is that? Because if you have a database of photo IDs, then you have to have the associated security in order to keep those things secure. Well, porn sites are in the business of providing spanking material and not in the business of security. So that leaves it open for security breaches, which is exactly what fucking happened, right? I mean, here's the thing, is that even other companies like banks and credit card companies can't keep your information secure. How many times have you heard about some company, some security breach at a company out there, and the data of their customers getting spread out over the internet? It happens all the time. And it happens with huge giant companies too. Things like Goldman Sachs, for example, has data breaches. T-Mobile had a giant data breach. Target had a giant data breach. Microsoft has data breaches like that. It happens constantly. So if these huge giant companies that deal in financial data can't keep your data safe, what makes you think some fly-by-night tube site is, that's run by Russian gangsters or something, is going to keep your data safe. Do you think they give a fuck about that? No. They're going to do the absolute minimum it takes by the law, and their shit's going to get constantly hacked, and your information is going to get stolen by hackers. And that's what's going to happen, right? And that's why you don't want that. You don't want to. I mean, would you sign up for a porn site that had required that, right? Keep in mind, that is the plan. That's the idea. That's what they want. That's the idea. They like it like that because the conservative Christians who are forcing this shit on people don't want there to be porn sites at all. So they're going to do everything they can to fuck them up. That's the whole point. The whole idea behind it is that they'll have to shut down. Ultimately, what this is a bunch of holier than thou people, conservative, Christian assholes who are taking away your right to enjoy your own life. You know, when it comes to laws, there has to be a reason, a justifiable reason behind a law, or else the law's bullshit, and then people just don't follow it, right? Let me give you an example. Where I live, there's a street that turns off into this back road, right? And it just so happens that this road is a quick alternative to the main road that has a bunch of stoplights and stuff. This road doesn't have a bunch of lights and you can go right through, right? Problem is, this road goes right through a very rich neighborhood. So, suddenly one day, this sign pops up that says no, no right turn, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Just during rush hour traffic, just during the time that everybody's going to work and coming home, you can't turn right down this road. Why? Because of all the rich people didn't want people driving through their neighborhood. It has done absolutely nothing to remove traffic because every single person ignores this sign. All of them ignore it. I'm not even kidding. I'll drive up, there'll be 5 people in front of me. Every single one of them will ignore the sign. I look around first. I ignore it sometimes too. Sometimes I just turn left and then drive down 20 feet and then make a U-turn and then turn around because there's no sign saying you can't do that. Sometimes I'll do that too in case there's a cop hiding behind a bush or something, right? If I feel sketchy that day. But that's basically how the law works in the United States. If it's a bullshit law, people will not follow it. And they'll just ignore it. And that's what's going on here with the Pornhub thing. So you think all of the other porn tube sites out there are going to bother? Do you think all of them out there? Because there's a million porn sites, millions and millions. The internet is for porn, right? Do you think any of them are going to bother setting up a age verification thing just for the state of Utah? No. They're either going to just block Utah like Pornhub does, or they're just going to not do anything. And just won't do anything until somebody in the state of Utah tries to sue them. Here's the other thing. There are millions of sites that are hosted outside of the United States. Are any of them going to bother taking these measures to protect the little children in Utah? No. They're not going to bother doing that. There's hundreds of them. X-Hamster, RedTube, right? Spankwire, SpankBang. There's so many of these little free tube sites where you go on and you can get all the free porn in the world. Google image search, for fuck's sake, has all the porn in the world on it. All you have to do is search for it. The Google image search has tons and tons of porn on it. X-rated images, right? Are they going to require people to, in order to see this, you have to put in your driver's license? Fuck no, right? It's stupid and ineffective. It's not going to happen anyway. It'll be a law that's on a book that there's no way for them to enforce it. It's fucking dumb, right? And people should ignore it to begin with. And so it's, people don't want to follow it. You see all of this, you see a spike of people getting VPNs and stuff because they're basically planning on fucking skirting this law. It's horseshit. You can't stop it. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, you hear all this dumb shit about, like, conservatives and crap, like banning library books, things like that, and that's another dumbass culture war thing we're seeing, where they're all, they're banning this book because it has a gay character in it, or it has a trans character, or it was written by a black person, whatever, right? Or it has, this is pornography or something like that. Yeah, well, your child from their phone has access to literally millions upon millions of pornographic images and videos from the touch of their phone. I guarantee you they've not just only seen porn before, but regularly consume porn on a regular basis. Do you have a teenage son in your house? He's watching porn. Do you have a teenage son in your house? Do you only have one computer? When you're not home and he's on that computer, he's looking at porn. He just is. Does your son have a phone? He's watching porn on his phone. He just is, right? And not only is there nothing you can do about it to stop it, you should not try to stop it. You shouldn't. Because it's a natural thing that everybody does. Do you have a daughter? She's looking at porn too. I hate to break it to you people. I know there's people out there who are in denial and all that other crap, and my kid would never do anything like that. Blah blah. No, your child too. All of them are, right? Because it's human nature. You can't stop it. Okay? What you should do is explain to your kids why you don't like it, why it's bad, why you shouldn't think that it's real. Because there are actual dangers from too much porn consumption when you're a young person. In particular, people thinking that shit is real. Right? Thinking that's what sex is really like and that's what relationships are like and blah, 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 blah. That's where the big danger comes from. Not from fucking masturbating too much. What, you think your kid's like gonna go blind or something? No. Right? That's not where the danger is. The real danger of porn, children consuming porn, is that, they think that that's what relationships are. That kind of thing. And they get all misogynist because, porn is extremely misogynist. But no, you should talk to them and say, okay, this is, what it is, and this is why you shouldn't believe that it's like actual real stuff that you're watching, and it's all fantasy, just like any other TV show that you're watching, just like anything you see on TV, just like anything you see on YouTube. It's just fantasy stuff. Don't take it seriously, and please clean up after yourself, and don't let me catch you doing it. Like, that's what you should be saying to your kids. That's what you should be telling them. Don't leave crusty ass cum socks all up in my room or whatever. That kind of thing. Because it's a natural thing that virtually every single person on Earth does. Every single person on Earth masturbates. Okay. Yes, you do. Right? Every person you've ever met, every relative you've ever had. Your mother, your father, your grandfather, your grandmother. Everybody in the entire world masturbates. So, what's the goddamn problem? And this is why I don't understand prudish Christian conservatives when it comes to shit like this. I don't understand this predilection they have in order to trying to stop human nature. It's like, it doesn't even say in the Bible anywhere, thou shalt not masturbate. There's no, there's, no rules against that whatsoever. It's just somebody fucking decided it one day and decided that's what they were going to do. Somehow decided that was immoral or whatever. It's like, goddamn, read your own stupid fucking book, you idiots. Anyway, so yeah, if you live in Utah, I'm sorry. Get a VPN, and I don't know, vote. Vote out the conservative Mormon people that run everything there, and maybe you won't have ridiculous dumb shit laws like this. Maybe you might actually get to live free like an adult, like a human being with rights. Maybe you might actually get to do that if the fucking fanatics, religious fanatics, didn't fucking run everything, right? Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.